Another attack by Candace Owens this week on Erica Kirk. Let's take a listen to some of this.
Have been on a wild pursuit of fame and fortune your entire life. You started doing pageants, I think we showed when you were like 12, okay? 6th grade, maybe? And you have not stopped wanting to be in the spotlight. Every person you have dated has had some degree of fame, and you saw Charlie as your ticket to more fame. And then you finally got it, in your view, when you walked out in a white pantsuit with sparklers behind you, and you sucked all of that in. That was it. That was the moment.
I've got to say, Andrew, you know, I've become increasingly disturbed by the relentless onslaught against Erica Kirk by Candace Owens. I think it's disgusting. I think it's inhumane. I think whatever you think of Erica Kirk's public appearances or interviews or whatever, she was there with their 2 young children when she saw her husband assassinated, murdered, shot dead. And to target a grieving widow in such a relentless campaign without any real evidence for any of the nonsensical theories she's putting forward, I think is actually pretty evil. What do you think?
We have right now a $200,000 offer for Candace Owens to debate her theories on Charlie Kirk with yours truly. I will say publicly right now on your show, we will up it to 300,000 just to have this woman actually debate her views. But they can't. None of them can. Not her, none of her orbiters like Baron Coleman and others. They all refuse to actually debate their views. Now you might ask, why is this the case? It's because she's the pot calling the kettle black. Imagine a woman works for PragerU, works for TPUSA, works for the, Ben Shapiro, works for all of these people, and then says, hey, this other woman over here, she's a clout chaser. It's like, give me a break. Pot calling the kettle black across the board. No evidence whatsoever on the Owens side for any of their crazy conspiracies. And you find out on top of that, that many of the people who are within their orbit who push this, like the Unfuck America Tour and others, guess what? They're funded by Act Blue. Oh, go figure. They're funded by Act Blue and trying to use this as a wedge issue to try to divide TPUSA and the Republicans at large. It's being used as a wedge issue. Now, can you criticize TPUSA for a Zionist message or having had a Zionist message or 2 pro-Israel? Sure. Can you criticize Erica Kirk and her personal opinions? Absolutely. Can you do all of this? I think that that's all fine. But that's not actually what's going on. What's actually going on is that this is being used as a wedge issue for a revenge plot, and that's what they want. They want revenge against the evil TPUSA. That's what she wants, and they will do anything to get it because for the first time ever, Republicans have outreach into universities, which is where we've been wanting to be my entire lifetime. And they're doing everything they can to destroy that, both progressives and this alternative movement. And they're such cowards, they won't even debate their views.
Yeah, Dave, I mean...
Easy solution. Get rid of all the Zionist bullshit with TPUSA, and then maybe the rest of the right could embrace them a little better. But it's really tough because it kind of feels like they're just also trying to shove that Zionism into those students' heads too. So it's really hard for the rest of the Republicans to get behind TPUSA until all that Zionist horse shit gets the fuck out.
To me, you know, I've actually ironically got a $300,000 bet for charity with Candace Owens about Brigitte Macron, whether she's a male or female. I believe she's a female who's had 3 children. The ongoing court case will determine that, and I suspect I'll win my bet.
You didn't get any odds on that? You just went head to head?
I went head to head, and the truth is, even when she loses, which she will, Candace will claim the whole thing is rigged and this and that because she's a delusional fantasist or a cynical fantasist who just does this stuff for clicks and clout and money. What do you feel, though? I mean, I just feel like this attack on Erica Kirk has gone on pretty much from when Charlie Kirk got murdered. It's just despicable. I just wake up and think, how can you do this to a grieving young widow? How can anyone do that? Am I wrong?
Okay, first of all, I'm going to say, like, if you and Andrew are just giving like $300,000 out to someone, I like debates and bets. All right. I don't know if we're just paying. So listen, I'll say this. Number one,
I'll beat you for free.
Listen.
Yeah, so will I.
I've already had that, Andrew. I want to make money here. That's the point. So no, I mean, I'll say this. I don't know how I feel about using the grieving widow card. You know, I was friends with Charlie Kirk, but I was not close friends with him in the way that other people were. I would certainly feel strange saying, you know, like attacking his widow, and I also don't want to judge anybody based on how they react after something like that happens to them, because it's very traumatic. There is something where once you jump in there and you're leading an organization and you're constantly in the media and you're becoming a political actor, you're not exactly just a widow anymore. You're in the arena, and I think it's legitimate to criticize it. And look, quite frankly, I'll just say Erica acted very bizarre in a lot of ways. Now, I'm not saying anything more than that, but I also will say that
It is bizarre how Zionisty it got after Kirk passed away, isn't it? That's just something that kind of, I don't know. It got awful like Righteous Gemstonesy too, like where they're dancing in fucking rhinestones and doing like a lot of numbers. I don't know. It's just not how I remembered it before Charlie. Now after Charlie, it looks like some kind of a weird like cult almost. Like, you know, the people that watch those shows on the weekends with the guys who have jets that they get with the fucking church's money. Like it just seems kind of like that. I get that feel from it now. So that's just me.
And you can see this in some of the late interviews in Charlie's life. There was this massive split that was already coming. I mean, this was already after the 12-day war and after the Epstein cover-up. There was this fight was coming. Charlie was doing everything he could to keep it together. And to have him killed in those circumstances. And then, I got to say, you know, if you guys want to blame Candace for all this, fine. I am not up to date on her latest theory, and I'm not here to defend what she...
It's all bullshit. It's all complete bullshit.
Well, I'll say this. I will say this. The director of counterterrorism himself said that there were angles of this investigation that got shot down that should have been looked into. Now, I'm not making any claim other than that. I'm just saying that...
You're talking about Joe Kent.
Yes. Now, the fact
Joe Kent.
that...
Yeah.
All I'm making is this argument, okay? I'm not making anything beyond this. I'm saying the fact that the way that there was this fight between kind of the Israel lobby and Charlie going out, that there was this big event where he brought Tucker and Megan and myself, and we had this debate, and then it's a thing, and then you've got him with the text messages saying, I might have to turn on Israel, and I fear for my life or whatever. I'm not saying that's not evidence of anything that you could take to court or prove anything, but that is enough fertile ground that I think in today's environment, you just go, well, I guarantee you the conspiracy.
Yeah, but when you start suggesting
Wild.
Candace has done that Erica was somehow involved in her husband's murder.
I'm not defending that. I'm not.
She's not suggesting that. The evidence is suggesting that.
No, listen,
Not only that,
Dave,
that's not even the sequence of events that happened. He didn't send out any text message that he was concerned Israel was going to kill him. He was concerned leftists were going to kill him. And guess what?
Well, wasn't it vague? Wasn't it pretty vague about what he was saying? Because I thought it was in the context. I thought it was in the context of him saying.
No, you're conflating a tweet by Harrison Smith.
Maybe I am. Fine.
Hang on. I'm just telling you, you're conflating a tweet by Harrison Smith, which many people do, with the actual text message that was sent. Of course, he was fearing for his life. He was at these massive public left-wing events. And these nutcases have been known, as you might remember, to kill people constantly. They seem to really enjoy that. One tried to take out Trump, for instance. So look, I understand you're not making any bold claims here. You've told me in DMs you're not going to make claims on this, and that's totally fair. You're going to stick with the claims that you feel comfortable with. I'm fine with that. What I'm saying, though, is that
what doesn't add up to me, man, is like, look, if there's a patsy, this guy shouldn't be alive and standing trial right now. And so if we're going to a trial, then let's sit here and let this trial play out and get as much information as we can from it. And like, I certainly, I don't know. I guess I would just say I never see it as being my role to go around and like hall monitor the other dissidents about who's being too much of a conspiracy theorist. At the same time, I was publicly saying the second after he got killed, don't jump to conclusions and blaming Israel and all this stuff because you don't have a case.
But Dave, there's a difference if you're using something like this as a wedge issue in order to split party politics, especially when you're coming into midterms, things like this, for people who are involved in politics.
What that's our motivation?
Hang on. for people who are involved in politics like me, that is actually very important that this be addressed, because it becomes a divisive issue within our own party and politics. Now, Jo, for instance, she has the same type of problem. It's just in a different direction, where she has communists who are building up out east, and her party's going to have to deal with that, right? So there's internal struggles, regardless of the parties that you're working within.
This is only if you assume that TPUSA is just this good actor here, this good actor who's just trying to insert conservatism in the schools, but they're also bringing the Zionism with it. And when Charlie was alive, that Zionism was dying out. It was going in a direction that the Zionist side did not like. So now that he's dead, it is funny that it is going in a pro-Zionism take again. Like now, Ben Shapiro, who Charlie hated, is now kind of has some say there. Right. And I don't know. You call it what you want. I find it suspicious, and I don't trust TPUSA as far as I can throw them, because they're Zionists, and I will not trust Zionists. Andrew just wants this to stay left versus right, and it is not just left versus right. There's a third actor in here that's got its fingers in both sides, the left and the right. That's what I see. The way I see it, I don't know. But I kind of disagree with Andrew on this.
And the left-right paradigm, which is currently the American paradigm. So
well, my
this is a
issue,
divisive
if I can
and it is
pick up on
necessary
that,
for us to address it.
if I can pick up on that, I just want to end with what I've been promising viewers the whole show, which is Jo and your little message to me on X, because I posted this after the UFC event at the White House. I said, I thought the UFC event at the White House was great. Very different, very entertaining. Congrats to Dana White and Donald Trump. And to my liberal friends shrieking in faux outrage about it, I simply say this: pick your battles with Trump. This ain't a hill to hysterically die on. I don't think that was an unreasonable comment. I thought that this is probably pretty accurate. There was no real harm done by the UFC spectacle. Most people who watched it enjoyed it. If they like the UFC, they particularly enjoyed it. But your response, Jojo, I have to...
The main event fight sucked. Pereira gained too much weight too fast. Anyway, back to
say
this.
left a little to be desired. Your full response to me on the public platform of X was, fuck off, peers. No, I'd like to give you a final opportunity to maybe withdraw that tweet.
Short and sweet. I stand by my words, my friend. Look, I'm old enough to remember when you told me to pipe down on your show, and then you took to that same platform to tell your audience that I was forever banned from your show until and unless, and I quote, I learned to behave myself.
Right.
Piers, I think I've been on your show
Quite clearly, I have failed in my own yardstick here.